Alright, welcome to another video on how to become a business consulting freelancer. So, the last video I went through how to getting started building a consulting career. Right after that, how to get started as a freelancer consulting career, and then where to find and land high-paying consulting clients. So once you know about the fundamentals, getting started as a freelance consultant, which is identify your niche, establish yourself or align yourself with a platform, as well as create your value statement, follow a value ladder of offering, because after all, one great offer is not just only sorry, a single offer is not only one. A great offer is most of the time a value ladder of offering, right? And then identifying the scope of the works, also define clear deliverables, be huge in communication, as well as ask the client how success is going to be measured. So with that, then to make you look much more professional, send a service agreement where you're going to align things like the project overview, the timeline, scope of the work, terms and terminations, compensations, and agreement. Okay, broadly speaking. And then, okay, so once you know how to find high-paying consulting clients, whether it's on any on-demand online platforms like Upwork, freelancers, paper hours, or your existing network, perhaps employment size, this doesn't align 100% to consulting, but it can help you to put your foot in the door. The whole idea is to gain some traction as you move down the road into your consulting. And once I look at some consultation tips, like show your face, because it's important that client must know, and you must create this distinction between your digital avatar and the real you, as well as remember that this is a numbers game. Ask yourself, am I putting myself in the best possible position to move forward? And what am I doing right now to do that? Well, right now what I'm doing is keep looking at this course and then practice to get real feedback from the market. Another tips, but in this case is a consultation sell tips for consultant. Consultation tips, or a sell tips for consultant is be an active listener. So the more you're able to read at the body language of the client, read between lines, understand what the client is saying. Perhaps the client is not telling you the truth, but the more you're able to do this, you can then, down the line, use all of those fact findings and address objections. Sorry. Also use speed, especially if you once a client contacts you, so try to reach to them as fast as possible. Use solution selling process. This is to make your life much more simpler, to reduce pain in the process by first do the journey's prospect, meaning try to find what is the prospect or client that you want to work with, then qualify them. So if the client and if both wants to agree to, let's say, if you and the client know that you are the right good fit for them, okay, then you can jump to the next step, which is a sales call or a after all you're doing is that, but you can do a call or video presentation to do even more fact findings about, hey, are we gonna move on, or is this gonna end? Are we gonna move on with this project, or if is this gonna end right there so I can move on to the next project? If the client decides to say, hey, okay, send me some information more about it, and this is where you put all of your expertise, your past experience, and outline some couple options or tiers where the client can go with. Remember to also tackle objections, okay? Most of the time it can be boiled down into time, budget, and value. And if the value is a concern, you can show them their past experience. If the budget is a problem, then you can adjust your price for that. And always seek for projects that align you with the type of project that you want to work with, and that will give you skills that pays dividend in the long run, which is another trade-off here. So once you know how to do this solution selling process, okay, part of this consultation sell tips, and you add value, you add free value, then this doesn't mean that you have to work for the client for free. This means that you go above and beyond of that, meaning that you can tell to the client, hey, I already put this together for you. Can you take a look at this? How do you think about it? What do you think about it? And the idea is the more you're able to do this, even though if the particular client doesn't want to work with you, remember that keep doing this. Be an active listener. Use speed. Use the solution selling process. And add free value. At the end of the day, that will pay dividends, because whatever client they want to work with you, now you're able to provide value and solve their problems. So the next is secure the payments. So once you send the proposal and the client agrees with that, it's important to send the service agreement and get the service agreement signed. Set the payment proposals, or say the payment options, whether it's weekly or by milestone, and only then you start to provide your service. And remember that even when it comes to invoice your client, you can do with personal invoice like Soho Books, QuickBooks, or PayPal, or with platforms like Upwork, freelancer that actually they underneath the hood they generate this invoice for you. Okay, so you don't have to create your own invoice; they do that for you. And remember that once you know how to send a service, once you know how to find and land high-paying consulting clients, you know how to send service agreement, you secure the payment, then you started to gain traction in your work. Remember that the ultimate goal of this is to have recurring clients and to scale your business. That's the end goal of this. And to do this, rely on tools like CRM or like HubSpot, for example. Okay. So like HubSpot, for example, where this is a CRM or this customer relationship management that it keep track every interaction that you're having with any potential client, sale leads, or prospect. And the whole point of this is to create business relationship with them. Because you don't want to do, or you don't want to be one of those freelancers that do one job once in a blue moon. In fact, here you're building is this business relationship. So, so. Uh, Now here in the section 4, okay, this is how to conduct a proper research as a freelance consultant, which is how to conduct proper research and gather quality data, but this is now relevant to the task that a consultant does. Okay, so when it comes to gather data, data is something important and powerful because it can help you to inform, persuade, or reinforce your point of view, but also can be misleading. And especially if you're conducting a research for a consulting project, it's important to identify where these data come from and which are the most valuable for your consulting projects. You have the first party data, data that comes from the company. Okay, you usually have to sign an NDA agreement for that. So after you do that, you can see how this company have performed, what they have done in the past, and from there you can start to provide your suggestions. The other is the second party data. This is data that comes from trust sources where they have proven record of research report, peer review. This is very beneficial because it comes from these trustworthy sources. And the least valuable data is from aggregate sources. Okay, where here this is the least valuable because you don't have this is the least valuable because the quality of their source are not always verified. Meaning is that you can know who the author really is, or this is something that is behind to some paywall. Okay, and when it comes to conduct a research, play devil advocate with yourself or see things from different perspectives. So gather relevant data, keep track, or in this case, take notes and keep track of every source you obtain, qualify the source you obtain, and then don't forget to circle back with the client. So this is the series of steps, broadly speaking, that a consultant does. Analyze things from different perspectives, gather this quality data, relevant data for the consulting projects, take notes and keep record of every source you obtain, as well as qualify the data that you obtain so you can ultimately circle back with the client for that. Okay, so I saw how Paul Mendes, the Zero to Mastering Structure, do that for a tourist website. Okay, again, he's a marketing guru, or he's a marketing specialist on Google platform. Okay, so the point of this, okay, So yeah, the point of this is once you do so. Paul Mendes described is his particular process of how he conducted research using it is marketing goggles, okay, for a tourist website. First, get the genetics, meaning understanding what this company offers, all the product and service, and then go into the specific. It's like step two about what makes this company unique, their company review, the different categories. And if you can have access to the first party data, that's great because you can see how they have been performing in the past, what they have done, where you can now see how you can provide your suggestions. And once you do that initial research, okay, based on their brand, the pricings, the product and service, then you're going to look now and make a competitor analysis to see who the other players in that industry are. To know what they're doing, what you can learn from them, and you make a keyword research that you're gonna use on keyword research tools like from Google, keyword tools, okay, keyword research tool like keywordtool.io, Google Keyword Planner, or even though here with Ads Google. So any of these keyword research tools out there to know what's going on in that industry. And once you do that, on top of this keyword research, then you're gonna get up-to-date data from Worst News to see how everything that you have researched is most likely to work today. And that includes look at how this industry is adapting to regulations and where this industry is going. Okay? Okay. So, because with that, right, I conduct my own research specifically on the e-commerce, okay, to understand a little bit more about that industry. Okay, so Amazon mentioned that e-commerce refers specifically to the trade of good and service on the internet. So it is your bustling city center or your brick and mortar shops convert into zeros and one on the internet superhighway, whereas Shopify mentioned that yes, even though that what is the here, the thing I put that right below here, that's right. So Shopify, whereas e-business refers to all aspect of operating an online business, okay, and operation of the online business, or the most common operation in an online business are marketing. They're responsible for marketing research, developing marketing strategies, conducting and creating ads campaigns, managing social media accounts, sales, where they contact sale leads or potential clients, do a video presentation or sales call, negotiate contracts and close deals, financing, create financial reports, keep track every financial transaction, keep track of your taxes, human research, recruiting talent, administrating benefit and salaries from for employees, providing training to employees, managing a customer relationship or any employee managing employee issues, the operations, developing or improving production process, set quality standards, among other things, the IT, create network computers or create computer networks, developing and implementing software systems, providing technical support, ensure data security, the customer relationship, inquires or addressing customer inquiries, solve customer complaints and refunds, provide technical support, as well as check the customer satisfaction, and the R&D, the research and development, where they developing or they take care of developing new prototypes or improve existing ones, as well as developing patents. So all of these 8 topics are the most, so broadly speaking, are the business operations that an online business has or a business has. So e-commerce refers specifically to the trade and good of service. So that's what e-commerce is. So it refers specifically to the trade of good and service. So then I look at what are the different type of e-commerce, okay, which is right here, the different type of e-commerce and the actors involved. So you have the business, consumers, and governments. So the most widely common business model is the business to consumers, such as online retailers like Amazon, Target, Walmart, digital marketplace such as Etsy or eBay, subscription service like Netflix, Spotify, ordering food and delivering service, Uber Eats, Grubhub, travel, online traveling and booking, such as Expedia, Airbnb, such as Expedia, Airbnb, Booking.com. And when it comes to business, you have online marketplace like Amazon e-business, Alibaba, eBay Business, EDI, electronic data interchange, paperwork that were traditionally made on paper, such as purchasing orders or invoice, now it is done electronically in a secure way across companies or within the company. Online portals, so large business that wants to streamline their supply chains, they set online portals such as SAP Ariba Network or Walmart Supply Center, wholesale e-commerce, where now manufacturers and distributors sell directly to business like Grainger or Uline, the different parts and pieces for business. Business to business payment solutions like PayPal or Stripe. Now the consumer to business, you have freelance work, which is something that I'm doing right now. Freelance work, user generated content, online survey, crowdfunding, reverse auctions. When it comes now to the government to business, public procurement portals such as the FBO on the US or the UK Contract and Finance Service, the tax filing and payment systems on the US like the electronic the elect the electronic federal tax payment system, okay, on the US, or the HM revenue and custom on the UK, licensing and permits such as building permits or food license, international trades and custom clearance, such as electronic custom clearance or export declaration, business registration. So, for example, like the SBA, the Small Business Administration on the UK, on the US, or the UK Company House. Here, the UK Company House. And when it comes to now the government to consumers, tax payment portals like the IRS in the US, the Internal Revenue Service for citizens, or the HM Revenue and Custom in the UK, so tax payment portals, vehicle registration and licensing, passport applications, ordering birth and death certificates, online bill payments. When it comes to the birth and death certificates, which is something interesting here, on the UK you have is the General Register Office. Okay, so the General Register Office do that, right? But on the US is the National Center for Health Statistics. I think it's this. No, so National Center for Health Statistics, when citizens can order for birth and death certificate, which is a very interesting website. This is a very interesting website. Very interesting website. I keep looking another example of now from consumers to governments, online petitions, online donations, payment fines and fees, licensing, such as fishing licensings or hunting permits. So then I look at, so now that I conduct that research, okay, to understand a little bit more about that e-commerce, then I move to who the other players are in that industry, which is the competitor analysis. And here, well, this is when you look at players like Alibaba, IKEA, Amazon, Walmart, eBay, and I make this keyword research to understand what's going on in that industry. Of course, this keyword research might not be actually up to date because I use tools like this, Tools WordStream, to do that, and they don't give me full access to their data because I have to pay for that. So I use the free version. But even though, so now that I know how to conduct a research, okay, then it is time to know how you can create visually engaging presentations, because at the end of the day, the client wants to know how you came with that conclusion. And by showing this with different statistics, aesthetics, and show them the meaningful patterns, this will help you to first make you look much more professional, and second, decide if the client wants to work with you based on your research, and your recommendation. So first, analyze your notes, analyze your research and notes. So before you create your report, first you must know exactly what is going to put in there. Okay. Then this is a couple recommendations. Then put the most relevant data, put the most valuable data first. Okay, because you don't want the client to start to forget what was the most important thing was. Okay, and by showing the most valuable data first, and then expand that with different aesthetics and statistics, this will help them to understand how you came with that conclusions. And also, especially for recurring clients, it's important to create templates so you can speed up that process. And don't forget to use visualizations, graph and charts, because humans can process much more faster visual data and help us to reduce process time. So there's an MIT study in 2014 that neuroscientists back then find that the human brain can identify image scenes as little as 13 milliseconds. So this is a very, very interesting research, right? So MIT neuroscientists find or discover that the brain can identify image as scenes as 13. So yes, MIT student or MIT neuroscientists discovered that the human brain can identify image for as little as 13 milliseconds. So here, even though here we are conducting a research and using this source to legitimize our content, or in this case, legitimize our premise. So, okay, this is important because data visualization will help us to make much better informed decision. Okay, and the way of how can we do that by using different chart is we can use bar chart, where most of the time this is used to show change in time or to compare different category or part as a whole. Okay, pie chart, when you want to make a part to a whole comparison with discrete or continuous data, and they're most impactful with small data sets here. The line graph, when you want to see change, this is when you want to see time series relationships, useful to see accelerations, decelerations, volatility, trends. The area chart, which is similar to line graph, but now we can represent is a new variable, so you can see it with volumes. Again, area charts are great to show this time series relationship. Okay, where now we can show three variables. The scatter plot, where you want to see correlation of data or that relationship between items based on two set of variables. So for example, customer relationship or customer satisfaction over time to response. So most of the time, the faster the customer service responds and solves their problems, the more customer satisfaction they will get. Data heap, and after that is the bubble chart, where these are great to show nominal comparisons or ranking relationship Nominal comparison, or this categorical data, is a way of how you can group data by classes or groups, and most of the time you have, or broadly, you have nominal data and ordinal data. Nominal data is data in which it doesn't have an inherent order, such as ethnicity, color, food, cards, marital status. And ordinal data are data that have an inherent order, such as job seniority, entry level, junior, mid, senior, C executive, health, which is very poor, poor, fair, good, excellent, a rank rating a products from 1 star to 5 star, educational level, whether it is an associate degree or associate diploma, a high school diploma, associate diploma, a degree or a master degree, PhD. So you get the idea. So with this bubble chart, they help us to show Jesus. Sorry. So with this bubble chart, they help us to show is correlation of data, which is a combo mix between the scatter plot and the area, the scatter plot and the area chart. Okay, so for example, here you can see things, or you can describe things like on the g-axis, time to spend on internet, on the x-axis, age, and each bubble represent is the gender, right? Again, nominal data. There's also something important to recognize here, that correlation doesn't mean correlation doesn't mean causality. But that's a whole new video. So another graph is data or heat maps, where this allows you to show categorical data, nominal or ordinal data, okay, using colors to represent, or using intensity of color to represent the value on a geographical maps or the data tables. So for example, if you want to show the number of apples a particular state export, you can use intensity of color to do that. Or something more interesting, if you want to see how much time people spend on TikTok apps per state, you can see that as well. Okay, this is heat maps. Geomaps, when you want to see distribution of data in a geographical area, for example, the different subsidiaries that a particular brand has over a state or a region. Geomap. Tables, when you want to see comparison for different sales representative, or where are block views are coming from. So tables. Waterfall, when you want to see performance over time, and pictograph, when you want to display statistics using icons. So for example, from clean that water, like that, so cleanwater.org, it show a pictograph with 9 tiers, indicating that 1 in 9 people on Earth doesn't have access to clean water. Such as here, right? So 1 in 9 people worldwide don't have access to safe and clean water. So this is one use of that. And then the tools and resources that you can use to leverage your report, whether it's Microsoft Excel, Statista, where you can get this different source, Google Trends, Canva to generate reports, Google Charts, as well as your CMR analytics, okay, like HubSpot. And remember to make this process easy to follow as much as possible, and then see how others are formulating the data. So when it comes to now, once you create this report, okay, it's important to understand some do's and don'ts when it comes to data visualization. So first, make your report organized. Compare that to benchmark and make it readable. So don't use outdated data. Don't lose your data after you present it, or forget to use precise numbers. And some communication tips, for consulting here for improve your communication is to break down complex topics, especially if your report or your presentations rely heavily on industry jargon or industry mumbo jumbo. So make it easy to digest for people that don't have a background on that. So show that you understand the goal, okay, on that report, and avoid any miscommunications. Remember that ultimately you want is to first identify the communication habits the work and communication habit of your client. Okay, so some clients prefer email, some others prefer video calls. So they have different time zones or work schedules. Keep track every interaction that you're having with your. Keep track everything that you communicate with the client. Okay. Remember to be a team player. Send brief update to your clients, and this is just communication tips for consulting, especially when you're going to present your research. Once you conduct the research and then you create your report and do the presentations. Okay, so break down complex topics, show that you understand the goal, avoid miscommunications, understand how the communications and work habits of your clients. They prefer a video sales, they prefer a video calls or email. Be a team player with them. Okay, keep track every interaction that you're having in your CRM, and don't forget to send brief updates. Right? So with that, okay, then I look at some recommendations to have much more or to build your recurring clients by using is A/B testing for that. So this A/B testing focus on two aspects: the control and the treatment. Okay, so the control is the original version, the unauthorized version. Okay, so the whole point of this A/B testing is after you know how to conduct a research, and so after you know how to gather quality data, conduct a research, and create visually engaging reports, and understanding some data visualization do's and don'ts, as well as how to improve your communication as a consultant. Okay, then doing the A/B testing will help you to build recurring clients, because this, after all, is known as split testing, the A and B. Okay, so whereas the A is your original version, your unauthorized version, your control, original version, unauthorized version. So for example, your current landing page, and the B is the treatment, so this expected optimized version. So for example, changing minor aspect of your landing page. So the control and the treatment. So this is known as split test. Okay. And you can perform as many tests as you want, but there's some best practice to follow. So one of them is do one test at a time. So you want to know which aspect, when you do an A/B testing, will drive more conversion, for example. So making the minor change on landing page, so do that one at a time. So one test at a time. Test one variable, because you can then, for example, if you want to measure is the customer or the user retention and user conversions, by changing, for example, the typography of a landing page, or the position of an element, or adding is a new element. Okay, you want is to measure is the impact of that, and by doing one test at a time, test one variable and make small change, you can do that. Also, it's important to split your test randomly, 50-50. Make the test simultaneously, so run them in parallel. And before doing the A/B testing, decide on the significance on that. So remember to measure this test over time, so you can have data where you can look back and see what are the things that has been done and how you can improve that. Okay, and remember to do that. So remember to test this in a cycle. But remember, the ultimate goal of A/B testing is to deliver the best value and also to secure long-term clients. So this A/B testing is something very, very important, especially if you're going to start as a consultant. Okay, and most of the time they want you to do a lot of things, or they want you to do a specific task. Okay, and this specific task is something great. So by doing this test, split your test. This A/B testing, you have your control and your treatment. Okay, or this expected optimized version. Okay, so do one test at a time. Test one variable. Do minor change. Make this test randomly. Do that simultaneously, and before all of that, decide on the significance of your test. Decide on significant before testing. So that's great. That's great. So that's section 4. And on the next video, I'm going to look at the section 5, which is developing your personal brand as a freelance consultant. And with that, that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye-bye.